Greetings, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's Adam here again with more El Cheapo experiments. We're putting together an affordaboard for a bass player in a covers project that we're working on at the moment. And we needed to get all the sounds onto the board, nice and easy. Just pick this up, take your bass guitar to the show, plug it in, ready to go. So, what we went with is this little guy, the Mosky third space bass amp. We didn't have the $600 to $700 to spend on a Humboldt simplifier, so less than $100 Australian, we got the third space. And we're going to try that out today because there aren't any reviews online that I can see of this unit, so I figured it'd be good to put one up. So we've got everything set roughly to neutral at the moment. Everything is set all the way to preamp with the preamp blend knob. We're running through all of these before we get to the amplifier, which is how we've been going so far. So we'll see how it takes pedals as well. So yeah, let's get the loop started and let's see what this thing sounds like. Right, so the preamp is fully wet at the moment, which includes the gain and the EQ controls. If I dial this all the way back to parallel, it's like just a straight DI into the power amp cab section. But I think this still, yeah. Cab section still affects the tone, but the preamp doesn't do anything. So if we go all the way back to preamp, let's try dialing up the gain a bit. Less volume. Of course, at this point, we can then use the preamp blend dial to get a nice blend of clean and distorted. And we can now shape our distortion using the EQ. That's a pretty cool tone. I dig it. But let's get back to something more normal. So now the preamp is fully wet again. I've dialed the gain back to something more realistic. And raise the volume again. EQ's now all back at noon. So, for our EQ settings, we have our bass going up and going down, which could make a nice little scoop if we then dial up the resonance. To make that nice kind of, bump and then dip kind of effect. We set the resonance back to about there and then bass to noon again. I reckon that's a pretty nice sound, not too farty but nice and deep. Then we have our mid control. We also can select our mid frequency. Mid control is currently at 400, going up. And going down. Classic scooped sound. Get a bit corny. Back to noon. If we set the mid control to 900, that's a classic growl frequency that I love. Pretty nice. that back down. Not terribly usable. But I suppose if you had distortion or something going in that needed taming, that could be useful. And then we can also go to 1.5K on the switch. Now this can work good, I find, if you want that to be like less of a high. So you can set that to your highs, 1.5, and then turn the highs down to get rid of any treble-y stuff. Get out of the way of the guitars. Yep. Not bad. And then highs, up. So that's not terribly harsh to my ear, which is good. It's reassuring. And then back down. Pretty cool. Okay, next up, let's look at our cab sim settings. So we have a resonance control, as we looked at before, which adds some subs. Or takes them away if you need to get cleaner. I like them at about sort of 1 o'clock. Controls without getting farty. Then we have our cab sim blend. Now if you were always going to run this straight into the send return, or rather return, of a bass amplifier with a speaker, yeah, you keep that at dry. We're hoping to have this be primarily for going to PA in front of house, so yeah, we're going to keep that on fully wet. And then we have a microphone position setting, currently at noon. Go to off axis for something more warm sounding. Or we can go to center for more bright. Ooh, very clacky. Tame that by bringing the highs down a bit. Yeah, does the thing. I actually quite like it at noon. Maybe a little less than noon. Alright. And then of the speaker types that we're on, we have speaker color, which can go bright, modern, and warm. Bright. Sounds a little kind of nasal and a little scooped to me. You could probably compensate with more bass, more resonance. Yeah, that's pretty good. Modern, lots of lows, more highs. Wider kind of thing. Sounds good for the 5-string bass that I've got going into at the moment. And then it has a warm setting, which oddly to me does not sound darker, which is what I was expecting, but instead it takes away some lows, which again you can compensate for. Get a bit more of a sort of a classic kind of, yeah, woolly kind of sound. I do like the modern sound though. Cab size, we're currently on the 8x10 sealed. There is also a 4x10 vented. It's just a little bit clearer sounding, a little bit more punchy. You'll lose a little bit of the lows, but again you can easily make that up with the resonance and all the bass. Yeah, not bad. And then there's also a setting for a 1x15 vented. Which again I think a bit more bass and resonance. But it doesn't have those sort of pronounced highs that the 4x10 has. Alright, well, that's all of the settings as they are on the pedal for now. Let's actually see how it goes by putting pedals in front of it. Bit of compression. That helps to sort of thicken it up a bit. And how about some distortion? Okay, so this is the Mosky King Rat, currently on the turbo setting. I like the turbo setting for bass. Actually, I like the turbo setting for everything, but I prefer that on bass to sort of get a bit more like clarity. Instead of being a distortion, it's like a super overdrive. Filter pretty much all the way down to focus as many of the lows as I can. How about some chorus? Without distortion. Very cool. Alright, one thing I'm going to try now is to route these two pedals into the parallel loop and see how that works, because it'd be great if I can keep some clean lows whilst also getting our distortion and chorus nice and prominent in the mix. So give me a sec to change some routing and we'll come back and take another look. Alright, and we're back. Okay, so we've got guitar going into, which is looper, going through our tuner into our compressor. Compressor goes straight into the front of the amplifier. Then we have our parallel effects send going into the King Rat, sorry. Rat into chorus, and chorus back into the return of the loop. And then we're going to see how our settings affect that and how we can get a really nice blended tone of these two and keep our lows. Let's get the loop back on. Well, let's see what happens. So now we can see that our parallel dial is no longer clean. The parallel side is now the distortion, or rather our loop, which is what we want. So we can, now our preamp is clean-ish. Let's make it a little cleaner, a little bassier. And let's dial in some distortion. Let's see how Vintage Rat sounds on this. Ooh, that's gnarly. Oh, that's exactly what we wanted. You can hear some more of those clean lows coming through, but a big world of grit coming from this. How about Fat Rat? Clean preamp, distortion. I think I still prefer the turbo setting. But that loop definitely makes a big difference to keeping in the lows. Turn it off. And that's still a really nice workable tone, so live setting we can just kick it on and off. Chorus. Let's see how that sounds on the 410 cab to sort of get a little more clarity. And without. Yeah, that's cool. Just stop the loop here. Very, very nice. Yes, no, that is definitely worth the price of admission. Yeah. Look, is it going to set the world on fire? Is it the greatest bass tone you've ever heard in your life? No, but it is perfectly serviceable. There are loads of great sounds that I can get out of that. And I'm very certain that when we take that to the stage, the front of house person is going to be able to do what they need to do with that and make it work. The introduction of that loop that we can blend in is absolutely brilliant, because other than, if we weren't doing that, we would need to have got a separate loop pedal with a dial for these two to be able to turn them on and off, and it would have made the whole thing a lot more confusing. So having that built in there is absolutely brilliant, and a fantastic way for us to keep that low, clean low end in the mix while getting nasty with everything else. So yeah, that is fantastic. Really, really pleased with that purchase. Yeah, I think this one's going to be a goer. Let me know what you think down below, and yeah, happy travels. One cool feature I forgot to mention. So the parallel preamp blend, there is also a switch down here which can send only, basically it low passes or high cuts down to either 100 Hz or 500 Hz, so that all you're sending to the parallel side is the clean lows up to either 100 or 500, which can be great when you're using the preamp distortion. So if we get a real gnarly distortion going on there, there's our clean parallel, there's our fully dirty preamp. Now if we send just clean lows, you only have that then on the parallel side, so you can blend that in. Or we can take it to 500. Which I think sounds a bit better. And we're just blending in clean lows with the distorted preamp sound. Very cool.